In this video, I will be covering the fastest way of building an app using Deepseek API and Lovable, and all of it without writing a single line of code. The problem with using Deepseek right now is that their servers are facing major outage. That's why we would be using an alternative way of using their API. I would be showing you all of it. So let's get into the video. For building out this app, we would be using Lovable. Lovable is a good tool if you want to build the front end of your app or if you want to quickly build a prototype for an app. Over here, we would be building an app that lets you talk to philosophers, Socrates, Plato, Confucius, Buddha, and more. We will be using White for building this app, and we want to use a very calming and a very minimalistic UI for this app. So I will just drop the first prompt and then we will start with this. Lovable is coming up with the code right now. Meanwhile, I will show you that what we would be using for building the backend of this app. We would be using an alternative way of using Deepseek R1. So over here, you will see that we can use the Deepseek R1 Distal Llama using Grok. This is a tweaked version of Deepseek R1. This is not the exact version. So for using this, we would have to go to their dev console. And over here, we would have to select the model. So over here, I will select Deepseek R1 Distal Llama. And I will go to view code. And I will select the JavaScript version over here. I will just copy this. Meanwhile, let's go back to our app. So on the UI, we see that we can select the philosopher that we want to talk to. So let's select Buddha here. If we select Buddha, we are redirected to a screen where we can start chatting with it. So the UI looks nice. Before going forward, we would have to connect a Supabase with this app. So it's a very simple process when you're using Lovable. I will select my organization. I will create a new project for this. I will call this project Philosopher Chat. And I will type in a password and I will create a new project. Let's wait for the setup to be done before we can go towards the next steps. So our database is finally set up. So let's go and connect it. So I will go to the Supabase org here. I will select the project I want to connect to. Let's click on connect. So it's now connecting our project. Now that we have connected our Supabase dashboard here, the next step for us is to build the backend of this app. Over there, we would be storing our API key and then we would be also building the entire backend logic. I will take a quick pause here. Are you a founder who's looking to build your own app, but you're not sure where to start? And learning how to code is really overwhelming for you at this point? Then I've got something for you. I'm launching this step-by-step guide that teaches you how you can build your own app using Cursor, Lovable, and ChatGPT without writing a single line of code. This will take you from a beginner to an absolute expert in building apps using AI. And you can do all of this within a weekend. This is launching in the next week, which is the first week of February. Learn more about this course from the link in the description. Now back to the video. So let's drop the prompt here. Over here I've mentioned let's use Deepseek for the backend of this app. I will mention Deepseek R1. Every conversation should be sent to this API along with the system prompt to act as the relevant philosopher and also the message history of the user. Here is the code snippet to use the model. And finally, I've mentioned my API key. So let's send this. It wants me to add my API key through this modal. So I will just add this here. I'll submit this. So it is implementing the chat functionality. I see that it has made all the changes, so let's try using this app once. I got an error, so let's try troubleshooting this. So it is making some changes in the code. If I go and see my Supabase dashboard, over here within the project settings, it has saved my API key over here in the edge function secret management. Now says that it should be fixed. Let's try again. So I will just refresh this page. I will select one of them. So can you answer my questions? Troubleshooting with Lovable is easier or much more user friendly because it can see the console logs and it can just identify the error itself. So let's try fixing the error over here. So I see that it has made some changes in the code. So let's refresh this and try running this again. Hello. Hello, what is the meaning of life? Still got an error. So after a couple of free tries, this has started working. So if I select one of these, if I go to Buddha and I ask him, who am I? And what does it all mean? I get a response from the API. My dear friend, I sense that you're seeking answers to the fundamental questions of existence. So a lot of text from here. I see that it also code the specific teachings of Buddhism. It is not just superficial knowledge. So this is nice. So now I'm trying to see if this chat remembers the entire conversation or just the last questions. So I will ask it what was my first question, and it remembered the entire question. So it remembered the entire conversation. One thing I would want to do is I want to attach pictures here so that it has richer feel. So I will ask it, let's see if it can do it itself. If not, so then we will just drop the pictures in the chat and it can attach them. So let's download the pictures for all of them. So now we have all the pictures. So I will just drop all the pictures here and let's see if it can update them directly. And yes, this works perfectly. To be honest, this looks really nice now after the pictures. This looks as good as real. So let me try one of these. Let's try Confucius. Hey, what should I do with my life? My friend, this question has puzzled many for centurions, as I always say. At 15, I set my heart on learning. At 30, I took my stand. At 40, I came free from my perplexities. And at 50, I understand the decree of heaven. Wow, this is a really, really good chatbot to chat with. It also mentions all the various sources that it is sourcing all this information from. For example, the analytics here. So I'm pretty much interested to actually read the entire response. So this works pretty nicely. I will also put up the link to this in the description. You can play around with it if you want to. Just don't overuse this so that my API keys are not cooked. I'm pretty stoked with the outcome of just 20 minutes of prompting. So you can do all of this using Lovable and you can use Deepseek R1's API in the background. So Deepseek is particularly very good with philosophical conversations like these. I think because it has got all the Eastern philosophy in its sources. This was a nice experiment. Play around with this app and build one of yourself. See you in the next one. Bye.